So someone had asked me to do a video sharing how we do our homeschool co-op, and I thought that would be fun to talk about and to share. It is very, very, very laid back. It is very informal because that's just the kind of people that we are. You could take it to so many levels, but we wanted to do something that was primarily focused for the kids to get to see each other every week, to have a group of people to do field trips with, and fun out of the ordinary activities with, like science experiments and arts and crafts. Although some moms are really good at incorporating that into their day-to-day homeschool lessons, I am not. That is a hole that I need co-op to help me fill. So I can cover information and books and reading all day long. I love that. But as far as like, let's sit down and paint, I wouldn't be as consistent with that without co-op's help. So I'm really thankful for what we've got going here. So the way we do it is we wanted to approach it really laid back and really informal so that it's not overwhelming and stressful for the mom at all, that it's fun. And we also wanted to keep it small so it wouldn't become like crazy overwhelming and needing a massive amount of organization. And so we did 4 to 5 families. It just so happened that they're all boys except one. And we have nobody under 3 except 1. So that's just the way it fell this year. We've had lots of babies before. We've had, just different age groups before, and lots of girls and half and half before. So it wasn't intentional. Those are the people that said yes. So that's how it worked out. So we've got 4 or 5 families. Can't remember. I think 5 families. And basically we trade, like we're on a cycle, a rotation of hosts, and from experience and improving things as we see them needed to be improved. Something that we chose to do this year that we didn't do last year was the host is the teacher. Last year, the host was just the host, and then the teacher didn't have to worry about their house. They could just get their lesson together and go to the host's house. But that turned out to be more of a pain because then you have to pack up all of your supplies as well as the snack that goes with the theme of what you're teaching, and so you end up leaving your house with all this stuff. It was so nice last week when I hosted and I taught because everything was here. I was just chilling all morning, not worried about anything except I got my lesson ready. There's my materials. I don't need to pack them up and go anywhere. Just come on over, everybody. It was really, really nice. So this year we're doing that a little different. The host is the teacher for the big kids. And the way that we organized it was we paired everybody together. We have 2 classes. We have the littles, which was like 3 to 5, or 3 and 4-year-olds, and then the big class is 5 to 7. And Ivan is the oldest, but not by much. So we have 2 classes. So every time it's at my house, the same person teaches the little kids. Every time it's at so-and-so's house, I always teach the little kids. Like we paired up that way so that it's really easy to just know when it's at this house, I'm the little teacher and the host is the big teacher. Big class, little class teachers. And so we're following a theme for the big kids. It's children around the world. And so that was really, really fun. I did Cuba last week. And, we did a coloring sheet of Cuba. We made a flag. We made a conga with coffee cans and balloons. I showed them pictures of like children in Cuba, some salsa, some music. I gave them a Cuban snack, and I kept it real simple. I could have gone over the top, but all I did was get the plantain chips, mariquitas, and some mango and papaya, and told them about some things that grow in Cuba, some things that people do for fun there, like play dominoes, and baseball being such a huge sport, and just little things like that. And they're not going to remember everything that you go over, but if you give them 3 things to just take home, that's something. I also read them a poem by Jose Marti, which was a famous Cuban poet. And yeah, so the way that we do it, like I planned my lesson for the big kid class. I hosted. Everybody gets to the house. We all meet in one room for big group time. We do the pledge to the American flag as well as to the Christian flag. And then we usually, you know, whoever's teaching the big kid class leads big group. So I taught the big kid class. This was our first meeting. So I led the big group, and it really is up to the person what they want to cover during that time. Sometimes there's a book that you can read to all the children. Sometimes there's a video you can show with a song and a dance. Sometimes there's just, you know, like a map to show or whatever we're covering. In the past, it's varied from week to week because of whatever the teacher's covering. So this time around, I got to show pictures of Cuba, pictures of palm trees and fruits and dancers and musicians and the island and the flag. And I let them hear a little bit of salsa, and I showed them a plate of food, and that was it really. So it was super simple. And then we break up into the two classes. Oh no, actually first we do snack all together, which is tied into the big group stuff you covered and usually tied into the big kid class theme. And then we all had snack together. Then we split up into small class and the small kid class and the big kid class. And the little kid class, we're kind of just covering like one letter, one shape, one color, and activities around that or we did that last year. But this year, I think we're taking a more literary approach. So like get a book, choose a great book, and do a bunch of activities revolving around that book, and they just love it. They did the hat book. I can't remember. There's this hat. They stack up all the hats. Cannot remember what it's called. I've read it before, only once though. So when she mentioned it to me, I was like, I don't remember that book. And when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I know it. So they literally had hats and like stacked them all up, and then they cut out hats and glued them on the guy's head, and just cute, fun activities like that they'll remember forever with their buddies. And then after that, I mean, it's literally 45 minutes to an hour of teaching and crafts and activities. And then we either all bring lunches and have like a fun, you know, lunchtime at the host's house and hang out, fellowship, or part ways and meet again the next week. So it's really cool. This week is our first field trip. We are going to the Hummingbird Migration Festival in Mississippi. I went last year. Amazing. I got to hear a hummingbird's heartbeat in my ear. My son got to release a hummingbird. We got to see all sorts of neat insects and animals and sit in through really cool lessons about reptiles and stuff like that. So amazing, amazing fun field trip. So that's what we're doing as our first field trip. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep on doing Children Around the World themes. So that is how we do it. There's no right or wrong way. I think our goal is that the kids get to see each other and play with friends every week, as well as have some fun opportunities for arts and crafts and unique lessons that you don't cover on a day-to-day basis. And we're accomplishing that. So you can make it super intense and like really, really hardcore and structured and organized and elaborate, or you can make it very, very chill. I think we're right in the middle. I think that we are structured and organized, and we have a goal and a purpose and a theme, and we're working around that, and they're actually learning stuff, but we're not like so rigid, you know, which is right up my alley. So that's how we do our homeschool co-op. I don't want it to ever get like huge, you know. I think that's really stressful and overwhelming to have to keep all of that organized, and the more people, the more opinions, the more you get off track of like your goal and desire. So it's really fun to find like-minded families and just enjoy the small community and still get the wonderful fellowship and playtime and all of that. So I hope that's helpful and inspiring and encouraging, and helps you see how simple it can be. It doesn't have to be complicated.